Hello again and welcome to the Impact Zone podcast. We're back again to talk more TNA wrestling shenanigans. And we've got three more matches, I think it is. Oh no, four. Four more matches. Oh my god, so many more matches announced. I didn't even see two of them. Whatever, I only saw two of them. I knew that like there was a couple other matches there that they had announced or they were looking to announce. Anyway, it's very weird. This show is very very weird to not have a TNA title match. Though I can get down with that in some ways. If you know, if they're gonna have this like 10-man tag. It's a big 10-man tag, so be interesting to see what's going on there with that. We will talk about that in just a second. Moose versus Jeff Hardy. Now, this is something I think is kind of cool in some ways, but in some ways it's also one of those things that is like, well, why are you doing that? Like why build this up? I guess it's again one of those things to have, something for Moose to do in some ways, and beat somebody else like Hardy or whatever else. So that's kind of there, I guess. Actually, something that came up the other day when I was looking at the NXT TNA matches with, especially like the match with Femi and Moose. I think for some reason I heard that it was for both titles, and I even think that it was actually said on the promo that it was for both titles at one point or another. But now apparently it's just for the X Division. Oh, not the X Division. It's for the NXT title. So obvious who's winning that again. Obvious who's winning this as well in many ways between Moose and Jeff Hardy. As I was sort of alluding to, it's just something for Moose to sink his teeth into for a few more weeks or whatever it is until he's going to drop that title at some point down the road. And he's got to have other opponents too. But again, it starts showing like how thin that X Division and how thin the whole company kind of is in some ways, that he's got to fight against Jeff Hardy. So that's a little bit of a nuisance, but whatever. It's kind of cool to see Jeff, and this is a ladder match between these two, so it's Jeff's specialty type thing. Though this week it did seem like Jeff had hurt his leg, so I don't know whether that's actually an injury that he's actually got. Probably isn't. He wouldn't been, he probably wouldn't be slated if he couldn't work. So, or if he is, it's going to be taken off the card at some point, I guess. But still, whatever. We'll continue to look along with more matches, and we'll get to the 10-man tag. Tessa Blanchard versus Li Ling Lee. With the way that they've kind of booked Li Ling Lee, it wouldn't be like terrible. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if she won in some ways, but like I in some ways, again, okay, fair enough. You've got to friggin' make this person that's coming in look good. But yeah, I feel like they've had so many like stop-start things here for her. It's like nothing has really stuck, and I don't know what's going on with this. It's like, yeah, just a match for Tessa to have and move along. So yeah, I'm predicting Tessa to win this one because I just don't like Li Ling Lee. She's pretty good, but like, I keep saying this, but it's just like, she doesn't have that much personality. Like, she kind of needs a mouthpiece or something like that. A lot of people kind of need that to help elevate them. When you aren't as good, or you aren't, like, she's been around for a long time, so you can't say that it's through inexperience or whatever. And I guess, again, it might be that cross-language issue or whatever it is. But again, she'd probably be doing really well in Japan. She'd be doing great stuff in New Japan. But here, when you've got to cross over and you've actually got to have charisma and you've got to be able to do everything yourself, it takes a lot more to actually be a top person. You can be a solid solid person and a solid hand if you're just a good wrestler. But a lot of the time, I feel like you can't really be the tippy top of anything, like without more than that, and a lot more than that. So unfortunately, I feel like that's the way this is going. Mance Warner and Sami Callihan, they're gonna go to war. Kind of feel like Mance is gonna win this. This is gonna be a street fight between these two. Um, he's new to the company, and like I don't even think has he had any matches. I think he might have had a match here or there or whatever it is. But like to really get established and to really like get going in the company, I feel like he's got to come in with this big win against Sammy. So, and that would be a good thing for, Sammy to help put somebody like Mance over and get him like initiated in the company. But I kind of want to see more from Sammy too, because Sammy's really cool and really good, and I just like he's been underutilized sort of a fair bit since he sort of came back, and I'd like to see more from him. But yeah, I don't know. It's like if you like, you start wondering where else you could take this feud just to make it last longer. But it's like, yeah, I don't know what you're gonna do with that past that. All right, so the 10-man tag. All right, the system. So JDC, Eddie Edwards, Myers, and the Colognes versus Joe Hendry, Elijah, and Matt Hardy, plus 2 mystery partners. Now, I don't know whether they're going to announce these mystery partners soon, later, at the show, what? Like, we don't know, obviously. So, yeah, we won't know, like, whether they'll announce that. Maybe it's like there is a leak out there to say that, whatever. I don't know, like, yeah. There's obviously some free agents out there. It could just be some people in TNA. It could be, friggin', well, one of them could at least be, with Leon Slater there. He could be one of them. He's been feuding with the system for a while. You could get Macklin, so. Like, I think, like, Leon is a safe bet, honestly. But I don't see, like, like who else you could put some other people in there, but it's kind of like, type thing, so it's weird this week that, Moose pinned Matt Hardy, I guess, but like I think that was because Jeff was kind of hurt, and so he couldn't do the finish or whatever it was. So yeah, I that's what my guess at least. So hopefully he's not hurt, because I don't want to see anyone get hurt at all. So it definitely sucks. But yeah. So it is very intriguing, but as a main event, I think it could work, but I don't know, like, unless, like, you're gonna do something big with Marsha, it's sort of, like, really hard to push that as being the main event. Like, or with Marsha and Cora, it's like, they can have a really good match, but unless you've got something big set up for her, it's like, yeah, so, kind of thing. They've had this rivalry, they've had this feud for a while. Certainly the 10-man tag is going to be a bigger thing, even though I don't think that that's the right thing to do. Just that's the way I look at it. Like, you could have Elijah, Matt Hardy, and or maybe somebody else or whoever it is against the system. Like, I don't know. And then you've got to think about like what Macklin and EY are doing, though their program seems to be like a lot more drawn out. So we will continue to hopefully see. But yeah, this one, I think is the hardest in some ways because it really depends. It can depend on the tag team partners um, as well. But you've kind of got a couple of jobbers on the system side in being JDC and Myers. They're almost always jobbers. The Colognes, they just jobbed to the Hardys. Oh no, they just jobbed to well, they did. Oh no, they didn't. No, that was the system. And they actually won. They just jobbed to Joe Hendry and Elias. So it kind of feels like they're already jobbing to the stars. So it's like, and they really should be focused in on the tag team titles. Although again, they're having a match with Matt and Jeff Hardy this week, so they're already kind of burning through that rivalry to an extent. Unless unless they kind of win or something like that, then you can kind of see the Jeopardy on the walls type thing. So, which doesn't make any real sense to some degree. But then again, you could sell that injury or whatever. So, but yeah, I don't know. It does depend on who the other two are, and we probably won't know that till the date. I don't think. But even if we do, I still feel like you're looking at a whole bunch of real top guys here, like 3 top guys on the babyface side, and no one on the other side. Maybe Eddie Edwards is a sort of top guy, So top guys don't often lose to the more jobbers to the stars type wrestlers. And it's like, well, what's the point of them winning? You can continue a feud with them, but where's it going? Maybe, I don't know, maybe you could have Obafemi in here. I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna actually, again, that's the thing. It's like, is it just gonna be some people from NXT? Or is it gonna, what's it gonna be? So yeah, interesting to think, but yeah, hard to say. But yeah, this is starting to fill out the card now. And I was sort of talking about how it felt like this show is a little bit under promoted. Now it feels like, yeah, this is probably the appropriate level of stuff to actually start promoting the show a bit more. But now it's kind of like, well, nearly all the tickets for the show are sold out. So the only thing to try to sell is getting people to buy the pay-per-view or the PLE or whatever you want to call it. So that's our job right now, is to get this word out there. And the show's going to be pretty good, I think. You've got a couple other, matches that are on here that are going to be good, at least at the bare minimum. I kind of still feel like Cora and if Marsha and Cora are going to be the main event, or even going to be a chance at the main event, you need a stipulation on it. Maybe they're building towards that again. But this has been going on for ages, so yeah, it really kind of needs something at this point. But yeah, I don't know, guys. Anyway, we've got to keep our mince pies, on the show, and soon we will get more, I'm sure, because we've only got a couple weeks. It's weird this week as well. I kept saying, why didn't they do this with the women's tag team titles? Put them on this show, or whatever it is. But yeah, I don't know, dudes. I really don't. And it's still well, what else? What else? Where else? And what's the ultimate goal of that? And at the end of the day, I kind of feel like it's time to as I've said, quell those titles or get rid of them. So that's where I'm at with that. But still, we'll have to wait and see where we're at when we come time for the show. So hopefully, we'll get something going soon at one point or another. yeah, we've got to keep our fingers crossed and we've got to try to push for the best. So, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this one and I hope you'll join me again in another one.